basis that non-proprietary parts can be used?
Well, if you look at it, they are. In the case of ThyssenKrupp, I think it's mainly Asian parts, and in the case of Liftronics, it's all North American parts.
Yeah,
But Coney put in only Coney parts, and that's
Yes.
why they were,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But,
And what's wrong with Coney parts? We've had them for 20 years and they continue to work.
yeah, yeah. So, anyway, so there's that to consider. I don't think that was spelled out by the committee to owners. So, again, we don't know what we're going to get for the AGM. Now, the budget.
Ruth, we didn't actually go through that page that you just had up. You
Oh, yeah.
didn't talk to that.
Oh, yes. The tender, the invitation to tender had option one at one lift at a time. This is part of the conforming tender over 3 years from 2019 to 2021, starting with the high rise.
So is that the generic parts, Ruth?
No, these had proprietary parts too. It was just non-conforming. It is a bit, I know it's a bit confusing, I know. The consultant said, give us these non-proprietary parts, these standard parts, these Lego parts.
Yeah.
ThyssenKrupp,
Generic, that's. a good word.
generic parts, thank you, Sandy,
No,
you're,
wasn't me.
oh, thank you, gold
Generic.
star.
Who are lift consultants? What are they?
Well, there are a few consultants that provide expertise to layman committees, because we're all laymen here. We're not lift experts by any stretch of the imagination, and I think a good consultant can shed light on a good tender. There are at least 4 or 5 consultants that I've got the names of, and I'm just wondering why the committee didn't appear to minute the discussions with any other consultants if they did that, or if they went straight to ILC, the consultant that was used, because you wouldn't know this unless you search the records, because they didn't minute it. But I'm being picky because I'm the former secretary, okay, bear with me, right? But we paid him $3,000 plus GST to do the audit, which was well worth the money, I thought. But we also paid him $15,000 to ask for tenders. And those tenders would benefit him over $100,000 in the next 10 years through trailing commissions.
Is that person like a project manager?
Yeah. He was going to, no, not really. He was going to audit them every year, and he was going to then commission them. And that's what was buried in the tender documents that I discovered. So,
So option two.
option 2, again on the ThyssenKrupp tender that I think the committee is still supporting, is 2 lifts at a time, 1 low rise and 1 high rise, 2019 to 2022. And again, there was no option for maintenance until we actually need to modernize. Okay, it was, if a vote of yes had come up, they would have pulled the firing gun and started the race.
So option two, does
Yes.
that mean from 19 to 22,
Yes,
only 2 lifts would theoretically get done? Is that
Yeah,
correct? Have I
that's
understood
right.
that properly?
yes.
And then.
No.
That doesn't, yeah, that was,
Doing it from 19 to 22, 2 at a time, but the 6 would be done by 22.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's what we voted on, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that's what we voted on,
Yes.
option 2.
I don't know. I voted no, so, yeah.
No, but we voted yes or no.
Yeah, and
For
then,
all the lifts to be done.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember,
Isn't that option 2?
but, well, the motion failed, so that's why I don't remember
Well, it
which.
wasn't called option 2 because it was only one option. It's only yes or no.
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 No, there was an
There
option.
were two,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
were 2
there were.
options
Oh,
that
Yeah.
ThyssenKrupp had put up.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
no mention in the EGM
That's what
which
I'm
of
talking about.
those options it actually was.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, yeah. It's very confusing.
It is,
They all
yes,
failed.
yeah.
Well, only just. Because
Anyway,
people didn't understand.
so-
People didn't understand what we were being asked.
Well, that's right, it's a complex situation. It's a lot of money, and we need to really understand the situation thoroughly before we jump in
Exactly.
and spend a couple of million.
And none of us are saying we don't want the list.
No,
None
no.
of us
No
are
one's
saying
saying
that.
No
No
one's
one's
saying
saying
that.
that. We're all
No.
just saying, let's just be careful and clarify what we're doing.
That's right, yeah. Now, the budget for 2019, the committee has penned 635,000 contribution to the sinking fund, despite owners voting this modernization down in mid-January, and they have penned a budget of 60,000 per annum for a lift maintenance contract for the next year. Now, that's not too far off the Coney proposal for a 4-year term with a termination clause to allow for modernization, right? So, again, there's nothing wrong with going with any lift company to do the maintenance as long as there's a modernization clause that's in line with our benefit, the owner's benefit. Now, as per the tender documents, unless I've misunderstood them, ThyssenKrupp maintenance was 151,000 per annum for option 1 and 103,000 per annum for option 2. So that's well outside the budget. So I've got that, and I'll put all this in a readable blog post too, that I'll email out to everyone. So once I get the AGM paperwork and I understand exactly what's being asked of owners, then I'll send one more newsletter out to owners. I might do it from my personal email because I did it from a Gmail account, and Gmail helpfully put a yellow warning on my emails to owners. Thank you, Google. Okay, so we're nearing the end of this August presentation. I think there are benefits for the owners of Admiralty Towers too by voting no. By voting no, thank you, not at this time. We can extend the lift life. Coney's approach allows us to safely extend the life of the Admiralty Towers 2 lift and pick which systems to upgrade first, whether the brains of the system, whether the doors, whether the interiors, whatever system is failing first. And we can take our time. One of the benefits of doing one system at a time is then in 25 or 30 years, depending on how much life we can squeeze out of these lifts, we don't have to then consider one whole big spend at once. Each system will naturally have its own life cycle. And you won't get stuck in this situation again. I think there are significant savings by extending the life. We pick system components which need replacing, and we base the decision on maintenance logs and parts availability and expertise. And you know, if you recall, there was nothing like the maintenance logs or nothing like that information was available to owners when we first voted. So, and again, the systems, as I've already described, are cars, door operations, ropes, hoist machinery, controllers. Some system components, like the hoist machinery, could have a life of up to 50 years. So why would we spend money on replacing perfectly good hoist machinery? So a systems approach may benefit the owners of Admiralty Towers too.
Ruth,
Yeah.
do you think they're saying we need to replace like something that doesn't need replacing because it doesn't fit with the parts they want to use? Is that what's going on?
We'd have to take a deep dive into that. Yeah, we would. Yeah. It would. That's a very technical question. Yes.
Excuse me, Ruth, is there any specific section on any of the things that have already been tendered that says that the hoist systems need replacing? In other words, is that part of what is
Yes.
already there?
Yes, my understanding of the tender documents is that the hoist machinery is included in the tender. Yes. Yeah.
Everything.
It's
Yeah.
a whole
The
shebang.
lift controllers, the hoist. Now, as Ruth mentioned, that there are two different hoist systems. The high-rise lifts have a direct drive system, which isn't a long life system. It may be up to 30 years. The low-rise lifts have a geared system, and that normally lasts 50 to 60 years. But we are changing all of that in both lots of lifts. All of the drives, all of the controllers.
Yeah.
Holus bolus.
Yeah. Holus bolus and
You mean if we go with, the city's proposal?
yeah. Right now. So yeah.
So
Exactly.
we'd be replacing things that don't need replacing.
Yeah. Potentially.
Potentially.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, if we sort of stick with Coney, it won't just be maintenance, they will be slowly modernising them as well.
Yeah, well, if we stick with Coney, what I would suggest would happen is we would simply do maintenance track the maintenance performance, and then, on the advice of Coney, we would then pull the start trigger on the modernization.
Yeah, on a slow
Yeah,
modernisation.
That's right, and we would ask for bids from all 3 lift manufacturers in Australia.
So could,
Yeah, I've got a question
Why,
here.
why couldn't Tony make a compliant, kennel?
Well,
Uh,
I'll let
Can
Paul
I
answer
answer
that,
that?
yeah.
Why would Coney want to go and get parts from Japan or North America when they manufacture their own parts, which they've proven are reliable?
Well, who
They
says
work.
it's compliant? Whose rule is this compliant business?
Well, this is this consultant they use. This
Yeah.
consultant says, oh no, you
It's
can't
not
use
compliance
proprietary.
in the consultant's idea of what we should have.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is there a safety compliance? That's all we need.
They're running the business, Fran.
Yeah.
The consultants?
Yes, they're running the business.
Yeah, so I think the committee, in my view, the committee delegated its full responsibility to the consultant.
They did.
And I think they put a lot of trust in this consultant, and I think the consultant has potentially pulled the wool over the committee's eyes. I don't know whether committee members know about these hidden fees. They might not know about the $100,000 that's payable to this consultant over the.
They think they are the body corporate. They don't
Well-
understand, I believe, the difference between the committee of the body corporate
Yeah.
and the body
Yes,
corporate.
they-
They think they are.
Well,
That's right.
One of the interesting things is that the lift consultants actually wrote the letter to Coney to stop the contract that we had with them.
Yeah,
It was
unbelievable.
written by the body corporate committee.
Yeah, I know. It was, I believe it was look, in my view, again, I have a
Misplaced
background.
trust.
Yeah, I have a background in major contracts management. I would never let anyone do my dirty work for me. Never, never.
yeah, the question I had is what the proposal, the proponents for the proposal made one of the biggest selling points was that parts would run out in the next couple of years, and there would have to be a slow changeover of the lifts. And the changeover of lifts would be more expensive than doing it as a 6-unit all at once sort of project. What's it gonna cost to change over one of the lifts by Coney? How much would that cost?
Yes, I
Yeah,
think,
But that isn't the option that we're
I know
talking
it isn't an
about.
option that-
Or what Coney's talking about. All that Coney's saying is, we will extend the life of the lifts by at least 4 years, maybe 5 or more. Now, those savings, right, in the capital amount to between 400,000 to 500,000 over the life of the lifts. So that's huge savings. What they were talking about was $60,000 savings by doing them all at once. Now, after 4 or 5 years.
That's not right. They estimated there'd be a savings by doing them all at once of about 400, 500,000. That's what they were saying. I'm not saying that that's what will happen, but that was their argument.
But Coney's proposal isn't any different. When modernisation is required, right, then they've said you can do 6 at once, or you can do 3 high-rise first and leave the low-rise for a later date, because the life of the low-rise should be longer because of the geared drives.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Did
right.
they give a cost to that in their tender, which was non-conforming?
Well, we
they
see.
did, they did.
We've seen nothing, no documents that show any difference in this 400,000 that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The number that they had in the documents was 60,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if you'd
For the
email me that. Can you email me their claim and maybe their source of this claim? Because I wouldn't mind learning about
Were
that.
you
It's not
there?
there.
You were there at the meeting?
I was, but I perhaps wasn't listening.
Well, I thought Ray Press said if we stagger it, it will cost more. And then he said,
Oh,
said
yes.
it'd be 200,000 or 300,000.
Oh, that's
But
right.
he was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
plucking a figure
Yeah, I
out.
think he,
I don't think he can use
yeah.
it.
That wasn't a
Yeah.
fact.
I don't think it's a fact. I think it just.
Yeah.
just happened.
Because, see,
Because they haven't done a price comparison.